Hi, this is Roger. Thanks for dropping by. Thought I'd do a quick whip round the garden. As Hannah's down this weekend, it's highly likely we shall do some work. So this will be like the before look. I don't know whether you people have ever seen maple tree seeds. They're winged seeds. So, and this maple is absolutely covered in them this year. Stacks. Stacks and stacks. Things that are most likely to happen this weekend. This will probably get tidied because Hannah gets quite annoyed at straggly bits sticking up. She likes it nice and rounded. The camellia up in there is virtually finished flowering and is starting to shoot up taller than it needs to be, on the grounds that if it gets too tall it becomes difficult to prune. So it's got to be kept at a reasonable height. This older, which I think it is, will probably get trimmed back because it's a massive growth at the moment. The oak alongside it's getting a bit overshadowed, but that might get a trim as well. Now, the one thing that is quite a show this year, again, it happens each year, is the forget-me-nots. And these are looking really good. Now, they eventually will finish flowering, and Hannah will do what she did last year, I suspect, which is to pull all the plants out, give them a good shake so that all the seeds fall back into where the plants were, and just generally tidy up. Now, the geraniums under the hedge are coming into flower, so we've got a few flowers there. The spiky bush isn't looking so good. There's a fair bit of dieback on there. I'd rather it didn't die completely because it'll leave a hole in the hedge, but it's not something I particularly like. The laurel is starting to, again, puts out a huge amount of growth this time of year. You can see some of those new growths are well over a foot long, so that may well get a trim. And again, the one in the corner there. Can't go too mad in that corner because I'm reasonably certain the blackbird's nest is in there. Possibly. Now, this buddleia, this is the white one. This is doing quite well. This is the one that Gail gave me the money for because she wanted a butterfly bush. The other two have definitely died. I was hoping they'd shoot out, but they've gone. But we'll come back to buddleias later. All of this greenery around the edge here is thyme, so that will come into flower later in the year. The tubs are all in the wrong places at the moment. They're just plonked out of the way so that we could get on with the decking. But the lavender's pushing on a bit of growth. More geraniums tucked in under the hedge there. The rosemary has got some dieback. Some of the actual pieces have died right back, but what's left needs cutting back quite hard. It's finished blooming now, so it can be cut back quite hard. The Himalayan honeysuckle is coming into flower. So that didn't get its spring trim, but I suspect knowing Hannah, it's going to get one anyway, and she'll probably just tidy it and cut the longer pieces off to bring it down into a sort of reasonable sized bush, something like that, I suspect. And over here, the cuckoo flower, or lady smock, is still looking good. It's going to seed, so a lot of the blooms are finished, and there's little seed pods. Again, I won't cut those off. I'll tell Hannah to leave those because it will be nice to set some more seeds. In case we get any dieback, then the seeds will come on. Now this is important. That is a bumblebee on the red valerian. That's the first bee I've seen on the red valerian this year. When I first got this from Carol, there's a little hoverfly here as well. Now this is good because last year and the year before, I think the year before was the first year I had it, It bloomed well, but the pollinators didn't go to it. They never went near it. And I was very disappointed on the grounds that I thought I've got this nice splash of colour and the bees don't go near it and the pollinators just don't go there. Well, they seem to be going there this year. I mean, that's a solitary bee, that's not a honeybee or anything like that. And the little hoverfly is a wasp mimic. But yeah. And then again, we've got plenty of thyme all round here, around the edging, and some other ground cover type plants. The bees and hoverflies do go on the cuckoo flower. I mean, there's several on there now. But yes, to see a bee on the red valerian, I'm well pleased. This ground cover over here, the pale coloured one. Oh look, there's a big bumblebee there. Proper bumblebee. Yay. It's amazing how they get off the ground, quite honestly. Yeah, the yellowy coloured ground cover there, when it starts putting up these long bits like that, it means it's going to flower. So we're going to have some flowers on that soon. There's another patch over here. And there's another one that looks very similar, but is a sort of greyish green colour. That's pushing up tall bits, so that's going to bloom soon as well. What else have we got? Yes, you see this ground cover here. Once it starts pushing those tall pieces up, it means it's going to flower. We've got to do something with the decking. I'm hoping to probably get a few more boards down, as I can do that reasonably easily. But we need to work out how overbalance, why don't you? How we're going to fill that corner in. So these boards will go up to there. So that's the main decking done. That bit doesn't need doing. That was quite secure and wasn't rotten, so we left that bit. But this bit here just fell apart. Somehow or other we've got to work out what to do there. This little bit here, now that we know that the pavers go right up to the far end, I now know that this is very shallow. But the rose campion, this sort of silvery coloured stuff. Oh, it's another big bumblebee. Actually, it's probably the same one, it's following me. The rose campion has managed to survive. You can see there was quite a large loss there of a plant, but this has survived and so is that, and that's pushing up a shoot. So we will have some flowers, and some of my ferns have survived up in here, so that's good. There's a few different types of ground cover up in there, but this has been not looked after on the grounds that it had to get walked on to deal with the decking. So I knew it was going to, some plants were going to get flattened basically. Right, what else? Not much else really. The red Acer palmatum's looking good. That's put on quite a lot of nice new growth this year. It's looking nice. Up in here we got there's another pyracantha there which is in full bloom at the moment, and I suspect Hannah will want to cut those tops off because we want to keep that at roughly the same height as next door's shed. And then this bush here has white flowers on. They don't last long, but I suspect the ends, all these long new bits that are coming out, will probably get trimmed. And again, the pyracantha that's coming out in there, those long shoots will probably get trimmed off. It's just tidying really. So that's over here. I think I saw where it went, but we won't be able to find it. There was an iridescent turquoise beetle just flew in under the decking. You won't have seen that, it's too small. So big bumblebees, we like big bumblebees in the garden. So that's over here. And then over here, the hedgehog is still in the garden. I actually saw it this morning. It came from in there and went down the path and over into the corner. So I think it lives over in that corner during the daytime. Oh, now this rose has got a few out. This is an old-fashioned rose, but it's got plenty of buds on, so it's going to look nice as they all gradually come out. So this is quite a mass of buds, but that's what it looks like. That's what the blooms actually look like. They're very attractive. The two geraniums that have been in the grow room all winter, they've come outside now. They're hardening up quite nicely. It's unlikely we will get a frost now this year till we get till early winter, so that's okay. In that pot there is some Himalayan honeysuckle again that was in a place where it wasn't wanted, self-seeded. And coming back to Buddleia, these two Buddleia were self-seeded and they've been dug up and potted. And this one is pushing up growth now, so this has taken, it's obviously got some roots, as is this one, and I'm hoping to grow those on to replace the ones we lost. Now because they're self-seeded, they're going to be either the standard pinky coloured one or the deep purple one. There could even be one of each because the leaves do look different. Anyway, that's that. The fuchsia is starting to push on extended growth now. When those growths sort of get about this high, I'll pinch the tops and make them branch, and then we'll get a lot more blooms. A little bit later in the year, but we'll get a lot more blooms. The geranium that's buried all in under this ivy is starting to push through now. Just see a few leaves. That puts on a lovely show and has gorgeous blooms. This is yarrow, and this is starting to push up some flower spikes. This herbs tub, we've lost the chives. They didn't make it through the winter, and I suspect that they just got too wet, as we did have a lot of rain at one point. But the marjoram, there's 3 different types of marjoram here, they're all coming back. They will flower. The perpetual wallflower, which was looking pretty sorry for itself, has picked up. So it's actually got quite a few blooms on it now. That's looking quite nice. Then we get round to the planted border. Something's going a bit wrong here. There's some plants keeling over. Not quite sure why. Can't be too dry for them. But there's always been a problem with this patch here. Things just don't grow very well there. But the Crocosmia is looking good. The leaves are looking good. The plants are nice and big and strong this year. We should get blooms on those in the not too distant future. Lovely, bright, fiery orange splash of colour. The different types of geranium in this border push up through the undergrowth. And we've got one here that's come into bloom. Lovely delicate markings on the blooms. Bee landed right on the one I'm looking at. Typical. And then the Aquilegias are looking good. There's another type of geranium there. That's not the same one, it's a different type. So a couple of geraniums coming through. This rose here, the first one has opened. Again, very, very attractive. And plenty of buds, so there's quite a few more to come. So that's good. I moved the bird bath from there to there so that it gets less sun, because it discolours the water, and it can cause algae and all that sort of stuff. So I've sort of moved it a bit where it doesn't get so much sun. The Welsh poppies, they come and go. There's been quite a flush of those recently, and a lot of them are sort of going over. There will be more will come. And looking at those plants up there, I think that's the phlox. And these don't look too clever either. Maybe there's some sort of well, it's not a pest or I'd see them, but maybe something's going a bit wrong with the phlox. They've never done very well here, quite honestly. Now all of my ferns seem to be doing okay this year. Last year they didn't do so well, but we've got some nice, lovely ferns pushing through. There's several different types. There's this one here, it's a sort of feathery, darker green colour. And then there's these types here. There's the big one up the back. That's the one that came from Helen. And then there's this one here. This is very attractive as well, slightly different yet again. And then we've got this one, it's different yet again. There's quite a few different ferns in here. And the Aquilegias, we've got the deep purple natural one up there. And then this one here is, again, it's a nice purple double. This is a nice one here. And then this one is absolutely stunning. This is a gorgeous colour, and it's another double. And the one I thought I'd lost was the really pale coloured one. Is actually still here. It's managed to push up through the undergrowth. And buried deep in there is some more rose campion. So that should come into flower. The hart's tongue fern, I always forget those when I'm looking at the ferns. There's several of those. They've got some nice new fronds pushing on. So that's that. So that's really what's going on in the garden. The bonsai are all over the place at the moment. They're not where they're supposed to be. But, you know, that's all I can do. Until the decking's fixed, I can't put things back where they're supposed to go. Quite honestly, until the decking's done, I'm not hugely interested in getting on with things in the garden, but Hannah will. She'll want to do stuff in the garden this weekend, so I can let her get on with it. But I will show you this bonsai. This is my hawthorn with the pink flowers rather than... The normal hawthorn flowers are a creamy white, endearingly known as May bloom or May blossom, because they bloom in May. Well, so does this one, but this is a variety. It's actually got a proper name, if you can read it. Paul's Scarlet. And it's very popular with bonsai people because it has the lovely coloured blooms rather than the white blooms. So yeah, that's what's going on. The blue butterflies that flit around, you might catch them now and again. They're holly blues. I get a lot in the garden. And I also get some common blues. It's a strange name actually, common blue. It doesn't mean there's more of those than any of the others. It's just the name, basically. Because quite honestly, in this garden, there's a lot more holly blues than anything else. So this wisteria is getting out of hand already, and it's only the beginning of the year. Hannah will want to deal with that. She will cut that quite hard back. Because although I'd like it to grow up the fence a bit, can't let it go up too far. But yeah, that may get a trim as well. We shall see. So there we go, that's what's going on. That's where we are at the moment. And as I say, Hannah's going to want to do some work out here. I will do some as well, I'm sure. We're going to have 2 nice days, Saturday and Sunday. We will get some work done. I'd like to get a few more boards down. I'm quite keen to do that this weekend. Especially now I know that I can do it quite easily using my kneeler, and all my tools are just in the shed, so I haven't got to fetch and carry all through the house and everything like I did last time. So we'll perhaps get on with that. And I've just realised that the fern in there is a different type yet again. That one there doesn't exist over here. So that's a different type of fern yet again. Let's just count up, because it's nice to have different types. So we've got that one there, yeah? Then we've got this type here, the hart's tongue, that's 3. The large one at the back that's pushing up, that's 4. And then this type is 5. This is 6, and the one over there is 7. So I've got 7 different types of ferns at the moment. That doesn't mean I won't get any more. But I've got enough that, you know, as they mature and everything, some of them can end up being split up and start some new ones elsewhere. But I love ferns. I just love the green and the shape. You know, the fact that all the fronds radiate out from the centre point in the main. I just like the way they grow. So that's me. The elephant's ears tucked in there has put up quite a few new leaves this year. That's good. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with what's going on, even though it's getting no real attention. It's just getting left to its own devices at the moment. But there's bees around. That's good stuff. Not many butterflies yet this year, not many at all, but we shall see. Hopefully they will start appearing. The only butterflies that are in the garden on a regular basis are the holly blues. They're in the garden most of the time. Having said that, looking round, there isn't one in the garden at the moment. But they come and go, so hopefully we can get a bit more done on that decking, and if we can come up with an idea to finish that corner off, I'll be over the moon. If that involves my son coming down with all his tools, fair enough. It's the idea that's important. It's how we're going to finish that corner off. That's the important thing. And then there's some work to do, you know, I mean there's still some front boards to go on, those 2 lower boards either side of the step. That gap needs filling in. So there's some odd little bits to do as well, but we'll see how we get on. So that's the garden as it is now, and if Hannah works out here for 2 days at the weekend, it's not going to look a huge amount of difference, but there'll be bags and bags and bags of rubbish to take round the front to the carport and go up the tip. And it seems that if I leave my bags of rubbish in the carport long enough, next door takes them up the tip. It's just, he just says, I'm going up anyway, you know, so it's really nice of him to do that. It saves me a trip, you know. And you have to bear in mind nowadays, with me getting out of breath and everything, going to the tip, loading up the car, and then when you get to the tip, you can't park right next to the skips that the rubbish has to go in. And each is a staircase to get up to the height of the top of the tip, the skip. And you've got to do that for each bag, you know, and empty it out, come back down, walk across to the car, get another one. It's actually quite tiring. So having somebody else do it for me is quite handy. Now that, as I was just about to film it, on the perpetual wallflower there was actually a honeybee just then. Actually came and went, but so there are a few around, but there's not a lot. But then there's not a huge amount of bee-friendly blooms at the moment. The Aquiledias are. The Welsh poppies are. That perpetual wallflower is definitely attractive for the bees, and the red valerian seems to be attracting a few, and obviously the cuckoo flower does. So I have got some flowers that the bees are attracted to, so that's good. And yeah, I think that'll do. That, I doubt if you saw that, but that was a hornet. I love hornets. Quite honestly, compared with the wasp, they're actually quite friendly, because they just go about their business. They only get upset if you start disturbing them sort of near their nest, or, you know, flailing around when they're near you. Otherwise they go about their business. They don't take any notice of people, whereas wasps do. They're just aggressive. They're a flipping nuisance. And also the hedge. The hedge is coming into bloom soon, because it didn't get cut back, unfortunately, so that's a bit of a shame. But should have been cut back quite hard, but it hasn't been done. It's going to have to wait till the end of the year now. If we cut all that undergrowth, that growth back now, it's going to fall all over the planted border and everything like that, so it won't do it a lot of good. So anyway, I shall leave it at that. Just a quick update, see how things are going. The main change at the weekend hopefully will be quite a few more boards down, but I can't take the boards right up to the end because the work that needs to be done to do that corner might need access to the support rail going across the end, because things are going to need to be attached to that to deal with that far corner. So I can't complete all the boards, but I can get quite a few more done, and then we'll see how we go from there. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks for dropping by.